first riff, I'm not kidding you, this is how bad it was, literally.
First riff I ever wrote, really terrible.
That's a great first song, Miles.
This is how I worked. This is how I operated. I was writing my own songs, and then I started just kind of showing my dad riffs that I had made. So what I started doing was I started having these like small show and tells, you know, for like family, like check this out. And so I did this thing that ended up on our first record, and it still kind of freaks my guitar player out because when I showed it to him, he was like, "What are you doing?" But that was the riff for "It's Not You." This is like when I was a teenager, so just, you know. So I was doing this like slap thing, and it's like it wasn't really playing; it was just percussive. So. So when I started doing that when I was a teenager, I'm like, well, shit, when is the soonest I can do this out with my band, you know? So
I can tell you the first riff that I ever wrote for Steel Panther, and that was, I know you're not going to believe me when I tell you this. It was Death to All the Metal. Of all the songs we've got, what do we got, 70, 100 songs now?
300.
Michael says we have 300 songs now, and that was the first one, and today it's still one of our premier, most bitchin' songs. It goes like this. God, damn, sounds pretty good. We should have used that for the record, huh? You know, it's got everything you need to impress your friends at school. The teachers love it. Mom loves it when she's trying to, you know, get you to take the trash out and you got it cranked on your AirPods. What the f are they called? I don't know. I can't afford them. I'm jealous, all the little kids on the subway and shit.
I'm a weird guitar player. Like, I had the dexterity and I kind of knew the motions before I ever picked up a guitar. Like maybe in a past life I was a guitar player or something, but I kind of got it. You know how sometimes things just make sense to you without ever being taught them? Like I could play, I could move around the fretboard, but I didn't know where to put the notes, how to tune the guitar. I go through phases, you know, I go through phases where I really have a deep love affair with it and I can't put one down. And then I go through phases where I fucking hate them and I don't even want to touch it or look at it or, you know what I mean? And so I was in a band, speed metal band called Atomic Opera, and we wrote a song called Across the Sea of Doom. You know, moving around like licks, I guess. But that was kind of like the first song I sat down and it was before we had any kind of recording equipment other than maybe taking a boom box and hitting play record on it, you know.
When I was a kid, I had a 4-track recording device, and the first time I wrote a song where I was like, I can write songs. The first song I wrote that I liked was. Someone was like, that's just Purple Rain, man. That's just Purple Rain. You're doing it. But, you know, people repeat the same chord progressions all the time, but that was kind of the first thing where I was like, you know, it's something other than just a bunch of gibberish on the guitar. So, how about you, Miles?
How about me? There's a song called Lonely Nights. It was like, hey. Hey.
That's a great first song, Miles.
That was like this. I think it might have been the first or second song. Yeah.
When I was growing up, kids, back in 1976, I'd sit around my grandmother's house and try to pick out melodies and make melodies up. And one day I stumbled across something that was like. And I made it up myself, and I was really proud of it. And I yelled to my Nana, I was like, look what I just did. And she said, oh, that's amazing.
The first riffs I wrote for Ask Alexandria, I was a teenager, I was super young. But I think it wasn't the first song we recorded as a group, or maybe it was one of the first ones anyway, but the first riff I wrote was the final episode riff. Yeah, I think that was the first riff I wrote for Askin, and we were all stoked on it. You know, it was a fun riff. It was heavy. Yeah, it was just a fun riff to play.
The first riff I wrote for Bull of My Valentine, way back. We was in another church rehearsing back then. We were still working in city jobs back home in Wales. I think this song is where me and Matt sort of, started taking our own sort of paths as guitarists in the same sort of band. So it was forwards chalk upon. So it's just a part to another part, but when they both come together, it's super cool. It's kind of it's old school Bullet, but it's like that Killswitch Engage sort of vibe as well.
I've always played sort of like not necessarily know. I mean, I know a little bit of theory and I know some chords and that kind of. I know a little bit about music, but I mean, I've never really applied it that much in terms of what I'm playing and how I'm playing. I just kind of play until something sounds cool. I mean, I still do that really. I play until it sounds cool and then I see if I can do it again. The first riff I ever wrote, it was something like, it was kind of a page rip. I was kind of like, the Immigrant song is like.
My very first band was called Crinkle Pig. And I got that name off of a type of leather jacket I was trying to sell when I worked at Wilson's Suede and Leather. The leather was called Crinkle Pig. I was like, oh, that's a great name for a punk rock band. So this is really tough, reaching back this far. I think one of the first riffs I wrote for my band went something like this.
The first riff I ever wrote for the Melvins, normal tuning, and it's a song called "Set Me Straight." I think it was the first one. It's on, and we ended up recording it actually for Houdini, I think. So, and that's just and remember, I don't read music, I don't write music, and I've never took lessons, so I don't know what the names of any of this stuff is. I'm just playing a chord, I think. That's pretty much the whole song right there.
First riff I ever wrote, first song I ever wrote. Really terrible. It's called Cold Beer. Cold beer! Cold beer! Not much has changed, huh?
As far as me personally writing, I mean, I was writing, I was a teenager, but writing stupidly simple stuff. Like I think there was a song called Tonight, which was probably like based around Kiss or something. And the first riff, I'm not kidding you, this is how bad it was. Literally. Of course, the song was tonight. Like everything, every word had to follow every chord back then. Like I was unable to play independently for my voice. But I did start out singing and playing at the same time, which I think really helped down my career. I was doing it for so long now. It's really second nature for me to sing and play. You know, some of the stuff, although it might be difficult.